Petition calls for fines for people who complain to 911 about Amber Alerts if people can be really that selfish to call to complain about a service that saves children's lives, and also to occupy the 911 line for this kind of thing, then they do deserve to be fined.
Here's a summary of the article.
Published Monday, July 22, 2019, 4:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Toronto, a Toronto woman is calling on the Ontario government to levy fines against people who call emergency dispatchers to complain about broadcasts of Amber Alerts. Dalia Monacelli says she's been appalled to read about repeated calls to 911 in the wake of the federally mandated emergency broadcasts, which go out to wireless devices across the province every time police issue an alert concerning a missing child believed to be in imminent danger. On all 5 occasions that Amber Alerts have been issued in Ontario this year, police forces have had to plead with the public to stop flooding 911 operators with complaints about the broadcasts, some of which take place in the middle of the night. Monacelli launched an online petition asking Premier Doug Ford and Attorney General Doug Downey to consider instituting fines for those who tie up 911 resources to complain about the emergency broadcasts. She says she's heartened by the fact that the petition has received more than 58,000 signatories so far, but still believes those griping about Amber Alerts need to pay a literal price. Amber Alerts have successfully helped locate Ontario children 3 additional times this year, most recently when 2 young boys were located in the company of their grandfather earlier this month. Many children have been located as a direct result of Amber Alerts, but it only works if everyone receives these alerts. The bottom line is simple: a missing child is an emergency.
This post received a score of 11,070, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Isn't it already illegal to waste 911 dispatchers' time? What's this petition going to do outside of what's already in place?
It is, at least in the U.S., but it's rarely enforced because some people truly are ignorant about when it's proper to call 911, and you need to be wary about doing anything that may deter people from using 911 during an actual emergency.
Greater than, but it's rarely enforced because some people truly are ignorant about when it's proper to call 911. It's like people who visit and occupy the emergency healthcare department whenever they receive a cold. Hard to discourage and enforce any law against them.
I've always assumed those people lacked insurance and would be turned away at the front desk, so they have to go to the emergency room.
It can be a cultural difference as well. In Japan, you basically go to the ER as the first stop on anything, so when people from Japan are working in the US, they don't even think about going to the urgent care clinic rather than the ER. It is a big deal for our insurance premiums. I work for a Japanese company in the US.
Really? That's interesting. I must have been an odd patient. I'm still amazed that 3 consultations, 2 blood tests, 5 prescriptions and 2 refills of everything cost about $90. I was subsidized because I was a student, but still kind of crazy cheap. The national plan was around $200 for 6 months if I recall correctly, even if I overpaid because I only stayed 4 months.
Yes, going to the ER in Japan is also very cheap, so that will often be your first stop into the system. Follow-up appointments will be scheduled separately. Honestly, all healthcare outside of the US is significantly cheaper. Foreign healthcare costs wouldn't even meet most Americans' deductible.
And Americans are afraid Universal will make prices go up when they spend 2, 3, 4x the price per capita of their capitalist peers.
Obviously nobody should be wasting 911 time on these complaints. But the system as it is now is dangerous, and misguided. I have been on the highway when my phone started screaming in an extremely jarring way I almost never hear. That's distracting. What's much worse is that everyone is being badly distracted at the same time. If the alert simply stayed on the screen until acknowledged, we would all see it before we were really in a position to do anything about it anyway.
I live next to a nuclear power plant. If the plant went into meltdown or some other emergency, the sound my phone makes is the same as an Amber Alert. With the last Amber Alert I heard my phone going off and I ignored it, because what am I going to do to help at 4 a.m. while sleeping? When I woke up I checked my phone and read the details, but it made me think, what if it had been a real emergency? How many people will ignore it like I did because they think the same? They need to make the Amber Alert different and less intrusive than mass emergencies.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.